Hello, welcome to the Real Estate Regroup Show. I am your host, LJ Walker, a real estate investor helping you realize your dream of owning a home or investing in one. Today, the subject is, should you buy in the hood? Recently, there has been a lot of talk amongst the Black community on buying back the block. As some of you know, I bought in the hood a number of years ago, and I've had both successes and failures. I've turned my failures into successes, so I'm going to definitely share my thoughts on the issue. In the beginning, especially when I bought in Harlem, and to be honest, even buying in Clayton County, Georgia, people said that I was stupid. They thought that it was the wrong move that I took. They said that they would never live nor invest there, and they couldn't wrap their brain around why it is that I wanted to. But the truth is, I did it for the love, which is, according to many real estate investors, the wrong thing to do. They always say you never go back and invest or buy a home based on loving a neighborhood or loving a property. You always do it based on numbers. Well, I did both. But I'll admit, especially when it came to Harlem, I did it more for love than I did for the numbers. So I would say, if I were to give advice to someone else, if you're going to live there, make sure you're comfortable with living there. If you're not going to live there and you're going to invest, and you specifically want to invest in the hood, that's okay, but definitely look at the numbers. So before investing, investigate. Now, many of you may not do what I did, which is go out on my own and buy my own properties. What you may do is you may link up with another company that's going to buy the properties and that's going to fix it up and then turn around and give you a percentage. So here's my advice to those of you who are actually going to do it that way. Know that all of those companies, they're not created equal. So again, do your research, do a background check on all of the individuals within that company, and then also check that company's reputation. Look on the SEC, because unfortunately, some of them have been investigated by the SEC. And also check the returns that they're promising. Then check the fees that they don't mention to you and see if you are okay with the returns. Always check the fees. They never advertise that. They never put that in bold. Fees are always in that small print. Read the prospectus or the white papers or whatever it is before you put any money in any deal. You want to, when you're looking at the leaders and you're checking their reputation, you want to also go to the Better Business Bureau, Consumer Affairs. You want to also check their court records if possible. Ask the leader or leaders how much experience they have and what type of experience do they have. Like, if they are going to be rehabbing properties, you want to know, do they have flipping experience? Because if they don't and all they have is buy and hold experience, that can be somewhat risky. Then you want to find out what their values and goals are. You want to know what type of partnership they intend to have with you. Like, are you going to have any say, or are you just a silent partner that's just giving them money? You want to know what the payout is going to be, even after all the fees. What percentage do they plan on sharing with you? You want to know what each member, not just the leaders, but those who work under the leaders, what do they have to bring to the table? You want to deal with people who are very transparent. And the next thing is you want to have a plan to get in and a plan to get out. See, some of these crowdfund platforms or some of these groups, they'll penalize you if you decide that you want to come out early. Like if you want to come out before 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. So you want to find out if there is a clause on if there's any prepayment penalties or any, not prepayment, sorry, any withdrawal penalties. You want to find out what they are and you want to have a plan. This is why I say that it's definitely good to have a lawyer go over these things with you, especially if it's a group where the people are just getting together and they haven't really formed anything yet and maybe not even have a contract yet. You definitely want a lawyer to assist you with moving forward with the deal. And I just want to give a few warnings of as far as what I have seen on various social media platforms. I noticed that a lot of people get tickled by people who are very colorful and charismatic. But that does not necessarily mean that they are indeed a good leader. Okay, some people are good with people, but they're not necessarily good with money. Some of them, yes, I found out that some of them are scam artists, but all of them are not con artists. But even though they're not cons, they're not necessarily good with money management. So please be careful with that. Note that it's okay if there's two leaders. Sometimes it's actually better if there's two leaders to create that balance. Next, you want to look at what market this particular group is going to be investing in. You want to look at the infrastructure, the roads, the transportation, jobs, cities, the neighborhoods that it's in and nearby. You don't want to put your money into something that will turn into a ghost town. Listen, ghost towns normally turn, for those of you who don't know, normally a natural disaster hits, the economic activity failed, resources have run out, railroads no longer service. That's what a ghost town is. And there are a number of them in the United States. So that's why it's important that all those other factors come into play before you go ahead and say, hey, I want to invest in the hood, or I want to invest in this undeveloped area. What you also want to keep in mind is that there is a market shift that many people are expecting. Many say it's the year 2020. I think it's going to be the year 2021. What I've seen already in a few places, and more places are about to have them, is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is replacing a lot of jobs that's mostly held by people who work minimum wage. Most of the people who are in the hood, or I'll just say many people who are in the hood, work these minimum wage jobs. So that's why jobs is the number one factor before you say, okay, I'm going to go with this person who's going to build up these houses. If there's nobody that's going to move into those houses, or the people that are there have no jobs to pay you rent, and they're not on any type of assistance, or the public assistance that they are on is not enough to cover the rent, plus don't forget the maintenance, which is the heat, the water, the electricity, then it may not be a good idea. Even though your heart's in the right place and their heart is in the right place, it's going to be unprofitable for all that are involved. Plus, normally when there's no jobs, people do what? They pick up and move to another city or to another location altogether. So definitely look into that. What you want to do also is go to community board meetings in the areas that you want to invest in. Some of them are actually online and you don't physically have to go there. You don't have to get on a plane, a bus, or a train. All you have to do is Google it or do a search on YouTube and you will see it done live. I know that my community board does Facebook Live every month, so I don't even have to leave my home at all. Then the other thing that you want to consider is, especially if it's a new group that's forming into a crowd fund, is do they have reliable resources? You want to check that out too. You want to know um, the team that they use, particularly contractors. Do the contractors, is there also backup contractors in case one of the contractors gets sick? You want to know, what do they have in place? And then lastly, on the flip side, which is actually more of a positive, is, as some of you know, some hoods are in opportunity zones. So when you see that, there is definitely hope that you will actually make a profit and that you will be able to help the people in that neighborhood stay there. And the gentrification will not be as horrific, or maybe that's too strong of a word. It won't be as bad as what has been experienced in other areas. Plus, with the opportunity zones, you do get a tax credit and there is a tax incentive. Keep this in mind. When you are investing there, from my understanding, you do have to keep your money in for 10 years in order to get that tax incentive. So, guys, I hope I gave you enough to think about. Please definitely evaluate whatever investment you are going to undertake before plunging in. And hopefully, this information will definitely inspire you to reboot your mind, reset your focus, and make smart financial moves. Feel free to pass it along. Remember, each one, reach one, teach one. Bye for now. Until next time.